Today we're talking about latte art. We're going to be looking at the common mistakes that are preventing you from growing or improving your latte art skills. Do you find it hard to make a perfect latte art? This is because you're making one of these common mistakes that I'm about to talk about in this video. How do I know? As a barista, I've made all these latte art mistakes, but until I learned how to fix these mistakes, this is when I saw improvement and growth in my latte art skills, enabling me make the different latte art patterns. So I'll be explaining to you the easiest way that you can fix these latte art mistakes. Some of these mistakes are common and you often hear about them, but some of them are small and they're often overlooked by many people. But as a barista, I find them to be very important and they impact a lot on your latte art designs. This might be the reason why you can't improve or grow your latte art skills. To best understand how you can fix these common latte art mistakes, I'll be taking you through a step-by-step guide on how we make our latte art. This is going to help me to point out the exact mistakes and how you can fix them. So to make our latte art, we're going to first understand what is latte art, the process where you mix well-steamed milk into a shot of espresso to create the design or patterns. We have the basic latte art patterns, which are the heart, tulip, swan, and the rosettas. So we're going to start with the most important thing that we're going to need in our process of making our latte art, which is our latte art cup and the milk jug for steaming our milk. We're going to talk about the size of the milk jug and the latte art cup. This is very important. You can't use a big milk jug on a smaller cup, and you also can't use a smaller milk jug on a big cup. If you use a big jug on a smaller cup, you'll be able to make latte art, but it won't be perfect. You're not having control of your milk jug. This is why you see most of the baristas, they will steam milk in a big jug, then they will transfer it in a small jug. This gives them more control of their milk jug. We take a milk jug to be like a pen, so you need to have control on your milk jug when you're pouring your latte art. And also, you can't use a small milk jug on a big cup of coffee. You won't be able to fill up your cup of coffee, so you will have an underpour, which won't be looking very good on the standards of the latte art. Then for our latte art cups, this is very important. If you're a beginner, you need to start with the basic latte art cup, which is the normal latte art cup, which gives a larger surface when you're making your design. This is going to help you have a more control in your pouring when you're using a larger cup, and it's going to enable you to have much surface to create your design. So I would advise, if you're a beginner barista, you should start with the normal latte art cup, and also to pick the right size of milk jug to fit your cup of coffee. Then our next key thing is our shot of espresso. It's very important for you to have a good shot of espresso with that good creamer. This is going to help you create a good canvas for you to be able to create a good latte art on that canvas. Sometimes you're going to come across a thick creamer, especially from the Robusta coffees or the more dark roasted coffees. This is going to give you a thick creamer, which will be challenging for you to create a good latte art design. To fix this, you're going to pour in a little bit of milk into your shot of espresso, swirl it so that you can easily mix the espresso into the milk. This is going to enable you create a good canvas, which is the best when we are making our latte art. So sometimes when we're extracting espresso, the espresso flows very fast, dripping and creating air bubbles on your shot of espresso. If you use your espresso with the air bubbles, you won't be able to create that perfect design of latte art. So you're going to need to tap it down and remove the air bubbles so that you can be able to create the perfect canvas without the air bubbles. So our next key thing is milk steaming. Milk steaming is the key to making a good latte art. If you're not good in milk steaming, I will link my video in the description below. You can check it out after this video. It's a full guide on how you can steam milk and create that perfect milk texture. In the process of milk steaming, we're going to inject in our air into our milk. This is very important. You need to know how much air that you need in your milk so that you can create that perfect milk foam. If you inject in more air in your milk, you're going to come up with a more foamy cup, which will be very hard for you to create a perfect latte art. The milk is going to end up being too foamy and very heavy, so you won't be able to make a good latte art. And also, if you don't inject in air into your milk, you won't create any foam in your milk. So when you're pouring your latte art, you won't have any foam to create the design. This will be quite a challenge for you to create a good latte art. As an additional tip, when it comes to milk steaming, also the milk type is very important. Not every milk is perfect for milk steaming. So it's better if you're a beginner to start with the normal full fat milk. This has the right amount of fat, which is going to enable you create that perfect milk texture for your latte art. So our next step is the pouring of our latte art. This is very important because we're going to go step by step. First thing, we're going to look at the positioning of our cup. It's very important to understand the positioning of your cup, considering what latte art design you're going to make. The pouring, the speed you're going to need when you're pouring your latte art. You have to have control of your speed whenever you're pouring your latte art. If you're pouring very fast, your latte art is not going to come out perfect. And if you're not holding the cup in the right position, you won't be able to create that perfect latte art. So as you can see, this is a tulip. Let's make a tulip latte art. We're going to start with the basic one, which is a 3-2-1. We start by pouring 3 layers of the base. Then we're going to give it some space. We pour the 2 layers. Then end with 1 layer, which is the small heart, which is the final layer. Lift up your jug, cut. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, then 1. After explaining all of this, you can easily fix these mistakes step by step. But the most advice I would give you is to always practice your latte art. You should have that image of the pattern that you're going to draw before you start extracting your espresso and steaming your milk. You should practice as constant as possible. There are so many videos on how you can practice your latte art without even wasting your espresso or milk. Like if you want to learn how to steam milk, you can use soap whenever you're practicing for your milk steaming. And also, if you want to practice your latte art without wasting your espresso, you can use the grinded coffee beans. This is going to help you practice and help you eventually to grow your latte art skills. One of the biggest challenges as the coffee industry is growing, most people are going into the non-dairy milk. And one of the most common milks you're going to come across, and it's quite a challenge to most of the baristas, to steam it and create that perfect latte art, the Oat Milk Barista Edition. It's a full guide on how you can make a cappuccino using the Oatly Barista Edition. It shows you the full process on how you can steam and create a good latte art using the Oat Milk Barista Edition.